Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to provide an overview of PNGFP through a sustainability and carbon lens. In particular, looking at the brief from Simon was our infrastructure suite of products, which we compete directly with high carbon alternatives. To really understand where PNGFP comes from, and why we're different to our peers, and as Simon said, certainly unique in the PNG space, we have to look back at history. So the story really begins back in the 1930s, when Pololo Gold Dredging Limited was developing an extensive alluvial mining operation in the Pololo Valley. To facilitate this large-scale operation, BGD invented a large-scale air transportation system to shift large quantities of machinery and supplies quickly and efficiently. At that time, a feat that never had been done anywhere in the world. Weighty mining equipment and hydroelectrical equipment were flown piece by piece across some of the wildest country in the world. Miners, labourers, horses, cattle, stores, even cars, and all materials for the new township were flown from the coast, as there were no roads at that time. By the mid-1930s, Pololo was hosting one of the world's largest goldfields, with 8 dredges powered by BGD's own hydropower stations, one of which we've still got operating today. As the operation grew in scale, so did the town and the need for more timber. In the 1940s, the Queensland Forestry Department established a pine nursery and reforestation program, planting 60,000 young pine trees each year. This created employment, and by establishing the nursery and planting efforts, this employment legacy continues today. That's a photo of the rehabilitated land and re-established forest after dredging has been through the valley. Today, the plantations are managed by PNG Forest Authority. We've got 2 key Araucaria species, being hoop and clinky, which we'll talk about a bit later, because they have some really good advantages when it comes to bridge componentry, and exotic pine. Got a sustainable yield of 100,000 cubic metres per annum. We operate the full harvesting to ensure full chain of custody. As I said, hoop and clinky are fairly strong softwood species at F17 or thereabouts, compared to our other softwood radiata cousins at F8 and F11. When the mining operations scaled down, BGD constructed the largest plywood factory in the Southern Hemisphere at the time, under the name of Commonwealth New Guinea Timbers Limited, which was a 50% Australian government and 50% Placer Investments, who used to run the gold dredges, development. The structure was 5 acres under roof. In 1954, plywood production commenced and the export of product overseas, signalling a new industry in PNG. Continual upgrading expansion over the years has seen the site evolve into a fully integrated facility containing ply mill, sawmill, automated treatment plant, joinery with CNC cutting capabilities, secondary processing where we fabricate our bridge products, all with a focus on sustainability and maximising the value from the fibre, which all starts right back at the layers. We operate 3 conventional lathes, which take our billets straight from the forest down to a 110mm core. Hope you can see this. Normally the 110mm core would be waste, but what we do differently is we take that core and then repeel it or peel it again to gain that couple extra sheets out of it. And at the end of the process, the 2-step peeling process, we end up with a core that's no bigger than a broomstick. It's about 38mm diameter little core. Non-full sheets are then salvaged and defects cut out of it. I hope this is glitching a bit, this video.
It's not too bad.
And glued back together in a core composing operation to get full sheets. Yeah, okay. All waste out of this process is used. The sawdust is sold to chicken farming. Any wood chip waste from the lathes, trim saw offcuts is all chipped and used as fuel for a 20-ton biomass wood-fired boiler, which produces all the steam and heat for the drying operation, the hot presses, the log kilns, and the sawn timber kilns, all from our waste out of the peeling process and offcuts. As I said earlier, all our facilities are powered by our own hydro station, one of which was established in the 1930s, which is this little beast here. You can see the original generators are still operating. The switchboards, yes, it has been upgraded a little bit, but still got the 1930s meters and gauges, happily still working. It's a bit of a museum piece, which is different to our latest investment commissioned last year. We commissioned an 11.6 megawatt Sneath power station. This allows us to produce an extra 11.6 megawatts to the grid, brings our total power production to the actual grid to 21 megawatts. And that's on top of the 3.7 megawatts that we need to power our own facility and the township. So the only fossil fuel we use is the harvesting operation, the loaders, forklifts around the mill, and transport of the final product to the end market. Support infrastructure. Given where we are, you can't quite go down the street and get a few things. So we need to provide for we've got 1,500 employees and their families. We provide the support infrastructure. So we have a pharmacy, grocery store, bakery, abattoir, fried chicken outlet, bit of a rip-off of KFC, but anyway, liquor store, hardware store, fuel, primary school, golf course. Simon, you wouldn't have seen this one. Chicken farm.
No, I haven't.
No, we grow chickens now.
Okay.
Cattle farm. All to support our little community. So if we now move on to products. We have, believe it or not, a range of kit buildings, which go for residential, schools, hospitals, mining camps, either supplied in kit form, or we have a construction division that will actually come and construct these buildings for you. Sawn timber, certainly not of the scale of players in Australia, but nonetheless, it's the only softwood pine sawmill in the country, providing treaty a good treated pine alternative to the native hardwood up there. A range of specialty plywood products, including bus floor, which we export to various parts of the globe. Noise walls, a couple might recognise a few of these. Gateway Arterial on the top, Eastern Busway, Monash Freeway in Melbourne. All projects we've done. A bit of form ply and bridges, which I was led to believe you guys want to have a bit of a discussion as to what we do here. We've got two key products in our bridging suite. One is a modular system for medium to short span bridges, where you get for a single lane, a pre-completed bridge that arrives in two halves. You've got girders, deck, curbing, deck wearing surface, all ready to go. And secondly, we have a heavy duty, what we call new deck, jumbo plywood, basically, in a simple form, which we'll have a look at that one first. New deck, it's a purpose designed heavy engineered plywood system that's really flexible. Leveraging off the strength of the fibre, we're able to refurbish existing structures, or in fact put new structures down if needed. In this particular case, existing bridge, girders were fine, as you nice steel trellis girder system, abutments were good. It had a loose board deck on it. So what we've done here is made up some plywood panels, cantilevered off the side, a walkway, put some nice painted curbings on, a big curbing in the middle to keep the vehicles away from the pedestrians, put a deck wearing surface on it, and it just looks like a new structure. So the purpose of this is to reuse rather than just replace. What makes our product different is in the treating. Rather than make a big jumbo panel and stick it in a big pressure valve cylinder and then try and preservative treat it at that stage, and you get some through the face and the back, some around the edges, you end up with what's called an envelope treatment. So if you drill a hole in the middle or cut it, you've got untreated wood. Whereas what we do differently, straight off the lathe, we'll peel the veneer and then preservative treat it. Then stick it together in whatever form we need for the appropriate design, and thus ensures we've got 100% penetration. So on site, the contractor can do what they like from our perspective. They can drill holes as they need to do, cut it, but they're not breaching the treatment envelope, so there's no impact on the longevity or functionality of the panel. Combination of the treatment, robust nature of the treatment and strength allows us to do some interesting things in wharf and railway applications. For the Sydney siders, this is the Sydenham flyover, which takes the two main rail links to Port of Botany. We did a project for replacing the old hardwood transoms, which you can see in the foreground, with our new deck system, with the rail direct fixed to that structure. Again, reutilising an old structure. Widely used local and state governments, single lane, multi-span, dual lane. This is a Queensland State Government road just outside of Eel Creek, just outside of Gympie. It's a 2-lane, I think it's 5 or 6 span bridge. Flexible product allows us to convert old rail structures for rail trail conversions, preserving heritage values. Looks quite nice to ride your bike over. Talking of heritage, we redecked the Rakaya Gorge, which is the oldest wrought iron bridge in New Zealand, built circa 1882. The deck on this, before we put the new deck, was a combination of multiple years of resurfacing, where there was the original hardwood boards, some bitumen, some treated pine boards on the top, and then some more bitumen on the top of that as they tried to patch. So due to our lightweight strength and durability, we had a project to strip at night because the road had to remain open. So they cut out various sections and during the night period and replaced it with pre-prepared panels. And we basically were able to increase the live load carrying capacity because we reduced the dead load on the structure, and was nominated for one of New Zealand's lovely top awards. Different application. Rather than old structures, this is a new structure, prefabricated in a warehouse in Napier. Our new deck product on some steel purlins, delivered to site in a bit like a kit Meccano fashion, and quickly beams down, panels down, all pre-drilled. It's just bolted together and away you go. Little further south from Rakai is the Waimakariri project we did this year. Again, it's a redecking and reusing of existing infrastructure rather than building a new bridge over that gorge, which would be very expensive. We provided a decking solution to slightly widen the lane width. This was specific panel dimensions, wide panels, which we can do up to 2.3, so that the guardrail posts, the consulting engineers wanted the guardrail posts right in the middle of the plywood panels to maximize the impact protection, given the height above the water. And then we go to our modular bridge system, which is laminated veneer LVL series of girders bonded to a plywood deck, pre-applied chip seal on the top, impact angle on the leading and trailing edges, nice curbing painted. This particular project here was an 11.7 metre single lane structure for Scenic Rim Council. Was shipped from our perspective out of our factory out of gauge. You can see that's sitting on a 40-foot flat rack, which is only 12 metres long, delivered to site and installed. This product, a single lane, is basically 2 crane lifts. The first lift drops it in place, and then the second lift, drop it beside it, bolt the two together, and there's your structure. Flexible design, and this similar single lane up in New Ireland of PNG, we added out of the modular system a space for a pedestrian walkway to get the pedestrians off the single lane. Designed to either the Osroads T44 loadings or 5100 loading for both structures, have both in terms of the modular. The 5100 loadings tend to be a little more substantive and slightly higher than the original T44s. Broken full-scale bridges to ensure that they conform, together with million cyclic testing of the structures. And employing presently 1,500 Papua New Guineans. We're all committed to building a sustainable future. Thank you.